Hello, everybody. As always, I'm Frosty Yeti, and today we are covering the Cycle Frontier. It is how to describe this game? It's PvP extraction based, like battle royale. And in this battle royale, basically, if you've ever heard anything like Escape from Tarkov or Shadow Hunt, the other game, it's like Hunt Shadow Arena. Basically, it's like that, except for it's based on a alien planet, and I'm going to be covering some gameplay today. While we do that, I'm just going to be putting on some stuff, and I'm going to tell you a couple stories about me and my life. I got a pretty interesting story to tell you today, and I hope you like it. Anyway, this story comes from a long time ago, not a long time ago. When I say that, sounds like I'm going to start like an eternity, a millennium ago. But it actually happened like 2 years ago now. I think it's been quite a while since I went on this trip. This trip was a trip I was making with my improv troupe at the time. And we got to go and do like a over the weekend trip to go to LA and go see some shows, learn some techniques from some improv, I guess you could say masters, people who are successful in the industry. And the first day we get there, we go and we practice with this guy who teaches us all about like certain techniques of improv. There's some fun times. We go get a burrito, the usual first day stuff. The second day, we go out to go to a show to see like an actual show of people who are doing it and who are like making money doing it. And while we're out there, I've never been to LA before at this point. Well, I have been to LA, but I've never gotten to like explore around LA because every time I went to LA, it was like with my mom, or I was with family, or I was on like a trip with just like friends and family, and I needed to hold on. Okay, and so I never got like the freedom to go do what I wanted. At this point, I was already like 18, 19. I had my own job. I had my own money. I could pay for an Uber if I wanted to. So before the show was around like 6 o'clock, and we had woken up and we had gotten back from some events and some stuff we were doing. So I thought, might as well kill some time with going and just exploring LA. I'm gonna go out for a few hours. Took an Uber. Went to Sunset Boulevard. At the time, I love comedy. I still love stand-up comedy today, and a lot of my favorite stand-up comedies came out of the Laugh Factory. Well, not the Laugh Factory. Is it the Comedy Cellar? No, not the Comedy Cellar. Not the Laugh Factory. The Comedy Store. The Comedy Store, and that has produced some of my favorite comedians of all time. I won't name anybody at the moment, but yeah, some of my favorite comedians. And I went there, and I was just walking up and down Sunset Boulevard, just kind of experiencing, like the typical kid from a small town comes and see the bright lights and gets starstruck and it's like, whoa. I did the whole finding my favorite superstar on a star on the Hollywood Boulevard. It was all like pretty generic shit, basically. I went to the Comedy Store, looked at all the names of the famous comedians that I like signed on the wall. Was like, man, what if I got up there one day, the whole shindig. And I noticed, and then I went and was like walking around looking at the big billboards, the giant LED billboards, craziness, and I went to a burger place. It's a pretty good burger. I think it was called Cane's or Caravans. I can't exactly remember what the burger place was called, but while I was there, I've had a lot of people tell me I should go there, and so it was really good. But I started noticing that the sun was going down and that I wasn't really keeping track of time. And by the time I knew it, it was already like, I think I had like an hour left before the actual show started. And people were like getting ready and getting dressed. But I also noticed, so I started making my way back. And I also didn't remember where it was. And I think I don't know why I didn't just order an Uber back, but there was some reason I didn't order an Uber back. I think it was because I just wanted to kind of like, I was like, maybe if I would just walk home, maybe that would be a fun adventure. But I was not only not looking at the time, but I was not looking at my phone battery life. And after walking for about 15 minutes, I went to check the time, and I went to maybe be like, oh, this is really far, I should just call an Uber. I checked the time, and as I was checking the time, I noticed my phone was at like freaking 2% battery. And I was like, oh shit, that's not good. I need to start moving. And I don't think I had I don't remember why I didn't order an Uber. I don't know what it was at the time. I can't remember because I only know that, yeah, I didn't catch an Uber, so I ended up walking a far distance and just kind of like being like, oh shit, I gotta make it. And I was worried that the sun was going down, so I was in the middle of LA, in an area I didn't know, in the middle of an LA, and it was getting sundown. So I was about to be lost in LA without my phone and without thing, and I didn't know where I was. So I was panicking. I was like, oh fuck, shit. And I checked my phone one last time, and it literally, as I was checking it, I saw that I found the street. I found like where my house was. I used like my just kind of detective skills to kind of figure out where it was in my memory. I say detective skills as if I'm like a big brain, but it was literally just, where do I remember this being last? What do I remember the street names? I ended up figuring out what the street was, and I figured out that I was about like, it was like 30 blocks away or some shit. Like I was pretty far. I was like definitely really far away, and I was kind of like on a ton of adjacent streets. So before my phone died, I made it to the straight shot at least, while I was doing that. And while I was walking, I ended up finding a bird scooter, and so I decided to use that to just ride across LA, and I thought, I'd be like, man, this would be a fun adventure. Let me do this. And so I've got like maybe 1% of my phone left. I don't remember. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna get past the freaking Uber thing because obviously I can't remember why, but I didn't end up ordering an Uber, which I probably should have in hindsight. That would just been the smart thing to do. But anyway, I got the bird scooter and I was riding for a while, and instead of since I figured out where I needed to go, and I knew that I could probably make it there, but I needed to make it there in a good amount of time before that my roommates just left me and I missed the show and I was stuck in LA. Well, I guess I could have just waited in the Airbnb, and I could have just like waited, but it would have kind of ruined the trip and it would have been a problem. So I definitely wanted to make it back before the show. And so I get on my way and I'm going through LA and I'm seeing all the sights. I went through like this area of the neighborhood, fanciest neighborhood I've ever been in my life. Like I remember the thought that I was like, man, a football team manager must live here. Like the manager of like the LA, what is the LA football team called? I can't remember. Anyway, that's besides the point. But they have football managers, like football stars, movie stars, all sorts of shit. And so, as I'm going, I'm seeing all those places, and I'm kind of just taking the sights, not really worrying about my surroundings. And after like 5 minutes of I ended up going down this really steep hill because, as you know, LA, the fancy areas are like all hills for some reason. It's almost like San Francisco, but like not as extreme. And like, I was going down the hill and the concrete, the infrastructure was awful in this area. Even though I was looking like a nice area, the infrastructure became awful real quick. And there was giant cracks in the street, and I was like, oh fuck. So I had to start like BMXing with this bird scooter going like 15 to 20 miles per hour, maybe. I'm not sure, it was dark. I couldn't really think, but it felt like I was going pretty fast. Like if I would have fallen, it wouldn't have been bad. I maybe would have scraped my knee, but it wouldn't have been fun. And so I started like kind of like moving, like guavin, and like I ended up going off of a couple breaks in the concrete as if they were jumps and jumping over like tiny. I'm talking about tiny cracks. Like probably if you looked at your foot, it was a crack as big as your foot, but something that a scooter, like an electronic scooter's wheel would go into, it would have definitely stopped me. So I had to kind of like go over the thing. And I remember I was going and I was starting to get into it. I was going downhill though, so I was gaining speed. Starting to get into it, and I was like, okay, this is fun. I'm making good time. I'm going fast. And there's a big crack that's coming up. And at this point, I'm confident. I'm going. And as I get to the big crack, I notice there's a little jump part, and I'm just going to bunny hop over it. Like, I'm just literally going to just basically jump and then lift the scooter with me over the crack, because I'm going pretty fast. I can make it. And I'm coming up to the jump, and I do it. I'm lifting in the air, and I'm in the air for a little bit, and I land, and I'm like, success. We didn't crash. And all of a sudden, the back tire kind of like, because if you know anything about bird scooters, and if you don't know anything about bird scooters, I'll let you know that the tires are inflated, because it's literally like an electronic scooter that has inflatable wheels, so you can just kind of go. And the back tire, I guess not fully cleared the gap, and it hit the corner, and I just popped my tire. And I didn't notice actually for a long time. I was going for a little bit. All I noticed that I was slowing down, and I thought the bird scooter was losing battery. So I was like, I guess I'll just ride the battery out as long as I can. And so I did that. I ended up just going on this bird scooter for another like 20 minutes. One second, let me kill this thing. I know. Oh, hi. For like another 20 minutes while the tire was popped. And I'm making my way, and I feel like at this point I'm around 15 to 12 blocks away, and the blocks in LA are pretty huge. So I'm not generally that close. It's maybe going to take me, I want to say it took me another, it felt like it took me another 45 minutes, but I could be wrong. This is all speculation, by the way, because I wasn't like, this is also a year ago. I just know that it was dark out, my phone, and also while I was riding the bird scooter, my phone had died. So at this point, I was officially tire popped, going slowly. My phone died, and I was also worried about if my phone died and I ditched the bird scooter and I can't cancel the ride, I don't know how I'm going to, I don't know if it'll just keep charging me. And so I ended up just keep going, and then I eventually figured out that this bird scooter is just dead. The battery seemed like a thing out, but it was just moving, and I was like, alright, I can just run fast in this. And I started to recognize the area it was in, which also wasn't a great area. I was looking around, and there was like bars on the fences. There was like bad infrastructure. There was all sorts of like the buildings weren't taken care of. And data drive, I know what that is. And I was like, shit. I am gonna be shit out of luck if I can't make my way home, and I could run into something that I don't want to run into if I'm out here too late. And so I ended up just putting I think I had a jacket on because I like to wear jackets, and it can get a little cold in, oh shit, what the fuck? It can get a little cold in LA. I ended up just putting my jacket all over my shoulders, taking it off and putting it over my shoulders, and just booking it. Just like taking off. I was like, later. And after running for about another 30 minutes, I think. It was a long time. I was out of breath. I also am not the most fit person, so it could have been 2 minutes. But it was a good while. I was running up hills, down hills, and I eventually came to the main street of where I remember where the Airbnb was. And after all that adventure, I finally got home with I think it was 10 minutes to spare. Everyone is dressed, everyone is ready, people were putting the earrings on, finishing up their makeup. And I was all sweaty and shit, cause just from running. I was a little dirty, cause I don't know. I think I fell. Oh no, I didn't fall, but I was definitely a little dirty. I was definitely sweaty, a little dirty. That gets an iffy. Am I near a fucking base? Where am I? Oh, I'm over here. Rock pools, uplink, Painted Mine waterfalls, the lagoon. Okay, I'm gonna go over here to the lagoon. Anyway. But yeah, it was just, and so motherfucker. And so I ended up just having to get ready and, in 10 minutes, take a shower, get ready, and at the end of the story, I basically made it home just in time, got ready, took a shower, and we went and saw the show, and it was a really fun time. We went to the Groundlings Improv Theater, and it was a great show. I loved every minute of it, and it was also fun because I had an adventure in LA. Yeah, today that is my story, and we've been playing some the Cycles Frontier. I haven't run into a player yet, but as for now, that's my story. I'll see you next time for a little bit of stories in the Frontier. Later, everybody.